Welcome to this edition of Peak Performers Podcast with your host, Thor Conklin. Thor will be sharing the necessary tools, strategies, and psychology you'll need to become a peak performer in any area of your life or business.
Thor Conklin here. Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about the 5 easiest ways to fail. Now, I'm not quite sure where these came from. I was going through some old files and looking at some old topics on podcasts, and I said, okay, what do I want to talk about today? I found this really neat document. It is not mine. I wish I could give the author some credit, but there was no indication of actually who came up with this. So I'm going to share this with you because I think it's valuable stuff. So, 5 easiest ways to fail. Number 1, in no particular order, but absence of trust. People want to do business with people that they trust and like. People want to be around people that they trust and they like. Employees want to work for leaders that they trust. Trust is everything. It's at the base. If you don't have this, you have no rapport. If you don't have rapport, you don't have anything. So, trust. Do you have trust in the relationships that are most important to you? With your family, with your spouse, with your kids, with your employees, with your vendors, with your employees. Everyone, do you have trust? If you don't, or part of that is not where it should be, you need to shore that up. You need to develop that trust. How do you do that? What's the easiest way to develop trust? Vulnerability. Vulnerability. Be open. Show them the good, the bad, the ugly. It doesn't matter. Be transparent. That's the easiest way trust is created. If you have trouble with vulnerability and trust, I had trouble with vulnerability for a long, long time. I couldn't even say the word. I could not pronounce the word it was like I couldn't say it. Vulnerability. And then I realized, and the reason for me was I thought being vulnerable was being weak. And I was not going to be weak. And what I realized was vulnerability is absolute strength. When you're completely open to the world and you say, this is who I am, this is what I stand for, go ahead. You want to throw rocks? Go ahead. Want to throw spears? Go ahead. This is who I am. You cannot hurt me when I'm being completely open and vulnerable. So, number 1, fear of conflict. Oh, I can't tell you the number of people that I run into in my coaching practice that have a fear of conflict. Sometimes it stems from things in their past. Sometimes it's just, it conflicts with their belief that they want to be loved by everyone, and that conflict is not a loving state to be in. If you do not embrace conflict, you will never, ever reach your full potential. The most successful clients that I have will be absolutely in your face immediately in a loving way, but a direct way, and they have no fear of conflict. As a matter of fact, some will run towards it because as soon as you address it, then you can get through it. You can get past it. If you have trouble with conflict, you need to work on that. Drop me an email. I've got some ideas for you. We can talk offline. But fear of conflict. If you do not enjoy conflict, I didn't for a long, long time, you have to get past this. This is one of the easiest ways to fail in anything that you do. Conflict comes up, address it head on, and move through it. Do it in a loving way, but move through it, address it, face it head on. Lack of commitment. Oh, this is a good one. You know, everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die because they're not committed. They're just interested. Big, big thing. What do you think you get done when you're actually interested in something? Does the world, does the universe, does anybody reward interested? No. Everybody's interested. Everyone's interested in making money. Everyone's interested in becoming a millionaire. But very few are willing to do what it takes to actually get there. You know, one of the biggest things that I see with young entrepreneurs is they see all the success around them, especially from older, more established organizations and entrepreneurs, and they're like, I just want to be like you. My son does this to me. He goes, Dad, I want to be like you. I'm like, great. So I started basically in the mailroom. Are you willing to start there? Oh, no, I don't want to start that. I want to get an executive level position. Well, great. If you want an executive level position, that's where it starts. It starts at the bottom. But there's a belief now that you can skip all the rungs, right? You can just jump right to the top. That's not the way the world works. That's not the way things work. You've got to put in your time. You've got to put in the hours. So, lack of commitment. Get committed. Commitment is what gets you to your results, not just being interested in something. All right. Avoidance of accountability. Who likes to be held accountable? Well, I actually like to be held accountable because I know what accountability drives and the results that it produces. And back to my clients again. They love accountability. They're like, Thor, hold me accountable to this. Thor, get on my ass about this. Thor, give me some shit about this. Hold me accountable. Love it. That's why they're getting exceptional results. People that don't like accountability have no place in my organization. And look around your organization. Think about the people that like accountability, accept accountability, accept responsibility, and those that don't like to be held accountable. I guarantee you the ones that don't like to be held accountable are not your best employees. There's no way. Find people that are willing to step up, commit, and be held accountable. You don't want to be accountable, you are not going to get where you want to go. Next one, number 5, intention to results. Constantly tracking, measuring, knowing what the results on a daily basis. Some organizations track it on an hourly basis, depending on how much volume is coming through. Results, you've got to track them. You've got to have a public scoreboard. What's going on? Employees, peers need to know, how are my other peers doing? They need to know how their performance is related to the other. There's a great story, I don't know if it's true, about Henry Ford. Walked into his plant one evening. He saw that the night crew had put it on the floor a number. I forget what the number was. We'll say number 6. 60, let's say. There's number 60 on the floor. And Henry Ford said, what's the 60? He goes, that's the number of cars we actually got done in our night shift here. We get 60 of them done. Thought for a moment. He goes, great. The night crew left. He then took the 60 and turned it into 65. And he told the day crew that the night crew just did 65. Guess what? Day crew, what do? 68. They put a big 68. The night crew comes in, sees a 68 by the day crew, and says, we're going to do 70. You know where the story goes. You've got to pay attention to the results. You've got to have a scoreboard. People want to know how they're doing. If you don't, it's an easy way to fail. If you're not looking at your financials on a weekly and at the worst case, a monthly basis, you don't know what they are, your P&L, your balance sheet, your cash flow statements, your operating cash. Talk about these all the time. You've got to look at them. I can't tell you the number of clients in the past that I've had that don't want to look at the financials. Guess what? You think those are the clients that are doing exceptional, or are those the clients that are doing just okay? You guessed it. That is your scoreboard. Look at those. Know them. When my daughter was in high school, she had to give me on a monthly basis her P&L balance sheet. She didn't have to do a cash flow statement. She absolutely hated it. She bitched, she moaned, she cried, she hated the concept. About a year ago, she said it was one of the best things I ever did for her. You've got to know what your results are producing and how you're performing. That's the 5 easiest ways to fail. A matter of fact, I just saw a note here from my producer. He added a 6th one. This is probably the most important one out of all of them, so thank you for that. And that is failure to hire me. So a little shameless plug, but if you're not getting the results that you want, need, or desire, drop me an email. Be more than happy to discuss with you of how we can help. Have an amazing week.